Hi, Meredith.
Hey, Amy. What are we
Guys,
what are we doing here today? Why did
we
this happen?
don't know what we're calling this. It's Amy loves Meredith, Meredith loves Amy. It's I don't know.
Bunky adjacent because this actually started because we were subbing for Mary Payne over at Pink Shade on her Hey Bunky tier, her paid tier,
We
and
were.
we basically took over that show and said, "What if we did a recap but then also talked extensively about Fleetwood Mac and the song Silver Springs and added new intro and outro music? What if we just did whatever we wanted?" And we did.
Yes, we did. We did just that. And we have discovered that there is a real, I don't know, maybe historical moment, a point in Fleetwood Mac history where we can all agree the hottest thing on earth happened.
Oh my god.
Oh, all
And you
right.
know what? Lots of little not bunky stands, bucking stands. What were we calling Buck
Buckinghams,
Buckinghams? Lots of
Buckinghams.
people really live for this moment, especially
Mm,
this moment in
mm.
Fleetwood Mac canon, and not a lot of people know the history behind it, which I think makes it even juicier.
I have worn my JFK shirt
Oh, nice.
just so that I could show what piece of history is my favorite,
Oh, I
which
love that.
is
And I have
which
Fleetwood
is
Mac on.
JFK's inaugural speech.
Oh, that's a good one.
Let me see your Fleetwood Mac shirt. Okay, good,
It's just a
good.
typical one. I have the
Mhm.
Lindsey Buckingham solo tour shirt, because I went
Mm.
twice on his last tour. I have my Silver Springs specific sweatshirt that spells out,
Wow.
"I can't talk right now." I am
Yeah.
thinking about the 1997 performance of Silver Springs where Stevie Nicks stares a hole into Lindsey Buckingham. I swear it is on the entire it's a long
Oh,
it's a long sentence.
we're gonna talk a lot about holes today because if they didn't bang after this, I'm
How do you
sorry.
not?
I
How
am
do you not?
sorry. I am sorry to Kristen. Is it Messner?
Yes, Kristen Messner.
I'm sorry. They banged after this. They did. A
It
hundred
seems
percent.
It seems so wrong if this was just edging the entire
Ah,
time. Like, this should be a hall
Jesus.
pass, I'm sorry.
This could be, you know what? I could watch this and then go have sex with my husband. Like this could be foreplay for me.
This could be foreplay, that's a good
Mhm.
idea.
Mhm. Let's try that tonight with our respective
Yeah,
spouses.
I'll let you know how it goes, just kidding.
Okay, so should we jump to the main event? Let's talk about when we first became aware of the video.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hit me with yours first. When did you first become aware of this video?
Okay.
What was going on in 1997 for you, you know,
Ugh.
etcetera? Because
Well,
I know that someone might have seen this concert that is not
I
Meredith.
did. I did. So I went with my best friend, who's also my co-host at Little Miss Recap, Steph. We went and we saw them. They came to Montage Mountain, which is not a huge venue in Scranton, and we saw them, and I loved the dance. See, my dad was a drummer when I was growing up, so I was always around like classic rock.
Oh my god, me too, but my dad was not a drummer.
My dad was a drummer, and my parents were very young parents. They had us when they were 17 and 18. And they were very young boomers. They're almost Gen Xers. And they just like I grew up listening to the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, like all of that from them. So I knew who Fleetwood Mac was. I was fully aware of Rumors and the big hits. Okay. But I didn't really know Fleetwood Mac until the dance came out. I just really didn't. And it just, I don't know. I just fell in love with that album. And Silver Springs, especially, was just such a huge song for me. So I am embarrassed to say, though, that I did not see this video until recently, probably 2 years ago, maybe during the pandemic, even. And I was like, holy shit. It just blew my mind. It blew my mind.
Did they
How about
perform it
you?
did they perform it that way at the live
Oh,
concert, or could you not see it? Or I mean
they performed it as an encore. I distinctly remember that.
okay.
And I don't remember them staring at each other. No, I think it was pretty straightforward. But again, I didn't have the context.
Yeah, you didn't
If
know
I
what
had
a
the
moment that
context, I
was.
would have been watching like a little, crazy person. But no.
Yeah, I think like you, I also discovered this video a couple years ago during the pandemic. I remember distinctively being up at my mom and stepdad's lake house. I'm hanging out.
Oh,
I'm on
you remember the
TikTok.
moment.
Oh, I remember the distinct moment because it was a TikTok account that I forget how it introed it, but it showed the clip, just a little bit of the clip of Stevie and Lindsey staring into each other. And I remember thinking, I need to know everything about
Mhm,
this moment. I
mhm,
need to know
mhm.
absolutely everything. And
Everything.
so within 2 weeks, I had the full context. I had bought the Amazon Prime because you can get it on Amazon Prime, the dance
Mm.
that was filmed in Burbank, California in
Mhm.
May. It was kind of a test to see, if they should then bring this on tour.
It's too
So
bright in my house, so I'm
oh,
lowering my
please,
shade.
it's okay.
Okay. Alright.
I learned everything, and then I saw that Lindsey Buckingham was coming to town later that year, and I bought almost front row tickets immediately because I was
So you were
hooked.
in the front row.
I was
So
at
how old were you in 1997?
I was, like, in the second row. In 1997, and this was from Lindsey Buckingham coming, solo in
Mhm.
2021, because in 1997, I was 9 or 10. So,
Okay.
I
I
was
was 20.
I was only aware of the dance in so much as they used to play on Z100,
Mm.
very, very specific memory, or Q104. They would play the live version of Landslide, and it would do the "This is for you, daddy," and then that's the version that they would play all the time. So, I
I
knew
have
that
to tell
song.
you something, I forgot about Landslide. I danced with my father to that song at my wedding.
Oh my god, that's adorable.
Mhm,
My this is kinda dark, not really, but my grandfather's celebration of life lunch is
mhm.
this summer, and my eldest daughter plays the guitar, my middle sings, and they're actually learning an easy modified version of Landslide.
Okay, you are going to need to be scraped off the floor.
I don't know how I'm gonna get through that. I
You will not
really
get
don't.
through it, one mother to another, you will not be able to get through that.
No, but I think
Yeah,
it's gonna be really sweet.
it'll be amazing.
But
Anyway,
ooh,
go on,
ooh,
go on.
yeah, so in 1997, I also was raised in a family that was very into classic rock. My
Mhm.
arts and crafts as a child was I would go down the street to my aunt and uncle's house. My uncle was, uh, considerably younger than my dad and his older brother. He was the, New Year's baby. So
So he was the cool uncle.
yes, because he
Was
was
he a
young.
drunkle? Was he the drunkle?
A bit. I mean, it
He had
tracks.
drunkle energy.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Oh,
Gotcha.
definitely.
Mhm.
And we used to go in the backyard and we would tie-dye shirts along with my aunt's very hippie free love sister. And then
Okay,
they would go to Dead concerts and they would
okay,
sell the tie-dyes. That was my
okay,
arts and crafts as a child.
okay.
So I very much grew up in that classic rock vein. I knew Fleetwood Mac. I loved
Mhm,
Dreams and
mhm,
The Chain. I
mhm.
knew the big hits, but it wasn't until discovering Silver Springs during the pandemic that I just fell down a rabbit hole and suddenly I knew the entire history of Fleetwood Mac.
Mm.
And I'm not surprised to learn later in life that I also have ADHD. So the hyper
Oh,
focusing
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah. I love a good rabbit hole, and this seems as good a rabbit hole as any.
Oh, God, yes. It has everything, especially once you learn what led up to that moment. And we're bringing in everything. After we watch this, we have guitarists fleeing to join cults. We have Bill Clinton.
You are 100% gonna lead the history of this
Yeah, we
because
have the movie
I know
Twister.
none of this. Oh,
Oh, it's gonna be
with
fun.
Bill Paxton, which pro tip, you bang Bill Paxton, you marry Bill Pullman. That's the difference between the 2. Although Bill Paxton's dead now, so you can't bang him. But
Okay, that's good to
when
know.
when deciding between the 2 Bills, who are often conflated, Bill Paxton is the guy you're gonna bang. Bill Pullman, again, you're gonna bring home to mom.
Makes notes.
Okay. All right. Now, how do we want to do this? Do we want to watch the whole thing or do we want to just skip to the part?
Oh, maybe. Okay, you just made a decision.
No, I'm asking you now
Oh
because
my
I can
gosh.
change. Okay.
Let's just let's just watch actually, let's just watch the part, and then after we talk about
Okay.
the history, we'll watch the whole thing.
Okay. So we have to get to the part, which
We have
I'm
to
going
get
to
to the part, which
kind of
comes after
estimate.
this musical interlude. By the way, late 90s Lindsey Buckingham is the hottest Lindsey Buckingham.
Okay, here it is. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Oh,
This is peak
God.
hotness right here.
Holy shit.
Yes. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna see her kind of try to get his attention at first.
She's looking.
She looks good.
Oh, God, she looks
She's
so
got that
good.
90 bangs.
It works. And now he's kind of looking a little bit. Okay. And Christine's just like, I guess I'll just harmonize over here.
Well, I read that Christine tried to stop Stevie from making a lot of mistakes in her life, and she was probably eternally screaming right now, "Girl, what are you doing?"
Then she turns the microphone. Oh my God, his look right there. Look, he just, he's like, keep going. They get off on this. Oh my God. He looks possessed in like the best way.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I've seen this so many times and I'm hyperventilating.
Here we go. This is it.
Look at that face.
Wow. Whoa.
Oh, that part is heartbreaking.
Right here.
Oh my God. I thought she was going to move that microphone right over to him and slap him. Oh. And then they remember that there's a performance.
We need to let it finish now. Wait, I want to go back just a little bit. I just want to see it again.
It's so hot.
He is so hot here. She is so hot here.
Oh my God.
Who amongst us? Okay. All right. Who amongst us has not dreamed of having this moment? I told you I had a similar moment.
I know, and I was so jealous. My new goal that I didn't know I had was I joined a jam band because I need creative outlets. And my new goal that I didn't even realize I had was to sing Silver Springs, the dance version, in this jam band. I do not know who will be my Lindsey Buckingham, but
would your husband fit the role of your Lindsey Buckingham? No, because it needs to be tortured and separate.
It needs to be tortured. Yeah, it has to be dark. I don't know. I have to think about that.
I've had this situation because I married. Okay, so my husband's best friend was my teenage love of my life. Oh. So there's this whole weirdness. And when we first started dating, my husband and I, there was a moment. It wasn't Silver Springs. It was the song Black by Pearl Jam. We had a moment in a bar where those words were exchanged between us and we stared at each other and sang them to each other. It was nice.
That is everything.
And there, you know what? It was cathartic in a way because it was like, then I was done. Like, okay, we're done with that piece of our history. Put it behind us.
You know what? Every man who ever dumped me should be forced to reenact this with me so that I can get some closure. It would be cheaper than therapy.
I mean, as a writer, as a poet, this moment just speaks to me because, and I'm sure you feel this way too as a writer, I believe so strongly that words can have this power over people. And this is just like visual proof of it.
Yes. And it's almost like, she's repeating this mantra, this, you'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loves you. I will follow you down till the sound of my voice will haunt you. Holy shit. It is a promise. It is a threat. It is a regret. It is everything, encapsulated in just a couple of words. And this is really like for people who love a Taylor Swift breakup song, which yes, this is akin to if Taylor Swift had written Dear John and John Mayer had actually put together and produced the sounds and gave it color to make it an amazing song. And then they had to perform it with each other every single night. That is the level that we're talking about. So I would love to talk about how we got here.
Okay.
There's a little bit of history. I'm going to try to sum up my dissertation because boy, oh boy.
And I have like 6 notes. So on the rare offshoot that you missed something, which I'm sure you will not, I'll interject one of my 6 notes.
All right. So Fleetwood Mac. The album Rumors is a famous, famous album. It is a soap opera. There is so much going on, but the best song didn't make the album.
Agreed.
The best song did not. And it's not Dreams, because a lot of people will say Dreams is the best song. That's her
Mm-mm.
breakup song with Lindsey. No, no, no.
Mhm.
Silver Springs is the best song. So,
Yeah.
really quickly, we're just going to go back a couple years. Fleetwood Mac, up to this point, they started as this blues folk band out of England. Mick and John. So Mick Fleetwood is the drummer. He kind of holds
Is
everything
he
together.
7 feet taller than me?
He's very, very tall.
Yeah.
He's a very
Okay.
tall man.
Okay.
And then John McVie is the bass player, and he's pretty
Mhm.
quiet, pretty shy. And then
The bass
Christine Mc,
player?
yeah, bass player. I know. I don't
Okay.
know what this was.
Alright. He's not the drummer.
He's not the drummer. John McVie is the bass player. Christine,
Just
her
fucking
name
with
is
you.
Christine Perfect, her maiden
I
name. Or
know.
is it
I
Prefect
know.
because it's English? I don't know.
I don't know,
I think
but
it's Perfect.
it's perfect.
She's in a band called, I think, the Funky Chickens or Jerk
Mm.
Chicken or something. And
Mhm.
then she gets with Fleetwood Mac and joins, but they have a very big problem with lead guitarists. So they lose one to a nervous breakdown, which might have been because of the German LSD they had on tour that
Mm.
broke him.
Mhm.
One up and left during tour because he joined Children of God, which is a cult. There is a very
Ooh.
disturbing memoir that came out, I think, earlier this year or late last year, from a girl who
Children
grew
of
up in that
God sounds
cult.
familiar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
It's a California cult. I wish I could remember the memoir, but if you look up Children of God memoir, a
Okay.
woman wrote a
I've
really
written it
compelling
down, yes.
memoir.
Okay.
And another another had an affair with Mick's wife. So they have
Right.
a very hard time with guitars. So at the same time, so this is, early mid 70s, Lindsey and Stevie are trying to make it as a duo. They meet each other in high school. They're originally part of a band called Fritz, and
Mhm.
then they're like, psych, let's go do our own thing.
Yeah.
So they put out this amazing album. If you have a record player and you can find it, I have
The
2 copies.
cover is amazing.
It is so good. Although Stevie was mad because she had used the rest of her money as like a cleaning lady to buy this really nice top. And then they end up doing this shirtless cover where she's
Yeah.
leaning into him. It's hot though. I have to
It's
say, it's
hot.
hot.
It's hot.
And if you listen to it, you hear just like the beginnings of what is to come. And also,
Mhm.
some of those songs are a part of the first album that they produce when they join Fleetwood Mac. So what ends up happening is they're struggling. They kind of have some success, I think, in Arkansas of all places, but they're
Mm.
not going anywhere. So they are at the famous Sound City Studios in LA. And Mick Fleetwood heard Frozen Love from a sound engineer there and Lindsey's
Yes.
playing, which is from the Buckingham Nicks album. And then they basically, hold on, where am I in my notes? Sorry about that.
They invite him into the band.
What happens is Lindsey happens to be there that day. He happens to be there.
Okay. Okay.
And he plays a little bit for Mick, I think. And Mick's like, dude, join the band. And he's like, well, I have a girlfriend. You have to take her too.
Which I wonder if he regrets that decision.
You do wonder. I have a feeling that it must be so frustrating that so much of your success is tied up to your first love and a miserable period of your life. But I think there's got to be a love-hate there. Because what would have Fleetwood
It's
Mac been without Stevie Nicks?
it's always so interesting to me when two creatives are together. It's such a passionate, like, you need to do, like, here we go, I'm bringing Virginia Woolf into it as always. It's almost like Virginia Woolf and her husband, like, you have to write in different genres or be in different arts for it not to be so super passionate and toxic, which I'm
I
here for that.
I know that Lindsey is a Libra. I forget what is Stevie a Leo? I forget what she is, but it is the two of them together is written in the stars chaos. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
that's what it is. So what ends up happening is Mick has everyone get together because Christine McVie, who has married John McVie, she
Mhm.
needs to be okay with this too because she was the only girl in the band. She was on the keyboard, and they meet Stevie and Lindsey, and Christine is cool with it. She
Yeah.
recognizes that
Yeah.
she and Stevie bring different things to the table. She is OG Shine Theory Queen, and
Yes.
we have to
Yeah.
stand.
Yep.
And they do their first album, which is self-titled. It has some of the songs from Buckingham Nicks, which is really interesting, like Frozen Love, which is on
Mhm.
there, and Rhiannon, which of course is
Ugh,
a huge
great
song.
song.
Goes crazy. They're wildly popular, and their second album is highly anticipated. That
Mhm.
is Rumors. The problem is everybody is breaking up. Christine and John,
Everybody's on drugs and everybody's
everyone's
breaking
breaking
up.
up.
Mhm.
Christine and John break up, but they're very English about it and don't really talk about it, and
Yeah,
they don't fight in front of people. Stevie
right.
and Lindsey are breaking up, and it is real public. They make it
They're
everyone's
fist fighting
business.
at times.
They are that couple. And then
Yeah.
Mick discovers his wife is having an affair. And then, after a very famous photo shoot, a spark starts between Mick and Stevie, and they have a short lived affair.
Mhm,
It's
mhm,
and so this is we'll have to put up a picture in post, but there's a very famous Rolling Stone cover shoot by Annie Leibovitz around this time of Rumors coming out, where everyone is lying in the bed.
mhm.
And what ended up happening is that Stevie did not want to cuddle up with Lindsey, and
Let me see if I can find it.
yeah, and Christine does not want to snuggle with her ex-husband. So what ends up happening is they put Mick and Stevie together,
I
Lindsey and
got
Christine, and then John is by himself reading a Playboy at the edge of the
it.
bed. And what I love about this is how 70s it is, because Leibovitz
Mhm.
is quoted saying, "I thought I'd be nice and polite, and I brought a bunch of cocaine for everyone." In those days, for photo shoots, you just brought cocaine. I took it out, and they looked a little
Oh.
freaked out at first, but then consumed it in like 30 seconds. Then I learned
Mhm.
that they had recently been to rehab. So they were all a little jittery and tense,
A little bit. Okay,
which
I
was
think
a
I
nice
have it, but I
gift.
don't know how to I don't know how to put it
It
in.
might be easier to put it in post. We can just
Yeah,
overlay it.
we'll
It's
do
a
that.
very famous cover that you've probably seen. So,
But I wanna look at it while you're talking about it.
yeah, it's really interesting because originally it was supposed to be showing the kind of incestuous nature of this by having the original couples cuddling together, but no one was at
Mhm,
that point. So they paired everyone up with different people. At the end of the shoot, Lindsay and Stevie just don't leave, and they're just snuggling and making out for hours on this bed. And finally
mhm,
Annie's like,
mhm.
you got to leave." But that cuddling, that moment sparks something with Stevie
That's
and Nick,
interesting.
and
Okay.
they end up having a very short-lived affair at some point during the tour. It doesn't blossom into anything else, but it sounds like there's a lot of love for each other. That wasn't,
Mhm,
despite the cheating,
mhm, mhm.
it wasn't a tumultuous situation.
There we go.
There we go.
We got it.
So if you're on video, and we can also add an overlay, you can see the
Yeah.
picture. So you have John's just lying by himself on a pillow reading a Playboy
Mhm.
magazine. And then
Okay.
you have Lindsay and Christine cuddling. You have Stevie with Mick, and
Mick is tall.
he's so long. He has to go sideways on the bed. And then
He's the
yeah,
California king.
they gave John a Playboy. There's another picture where I think John is the other way and he's in between them. I forget what
Okay.
made the original cover, but this is the shoot, because it is a journey, this album, because what ends up happening is they end up writing cocaine fueled songs about everyone for
Yes.
Rumors, except for
Yes.
John, because John is not a lyricist. He just has to
Right.
play on all these songs. They actually almost thanked their cocaine dealer on the album, but the cocaine dealer was snuffed, executed before it came out.
So the 3 writers, if I have this correct, are Christine McVie,
Yep.
Stevie, and
Yep.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Okay. Alright.
Yes. And a funny story is that Christine wrote You Make Loving Fun for Rumors because she had a Tango in the Night. See what I did there?
Oh,
See what
I
I
see
did
what you
there?
did
That's an
there.
80s
I see
album.
what you did.
She was doing the funky with the lighting guy. She was having a little relationship with the lighting guy
Okay.
that
Alright.
was on the Fleetwood Mac tour. And John asked her at some point, "Love, what's the song about?" And she goes, "My dogs." She said her dogs.
Okay. You have a much better British accent than I. I
That's
just
not true.
kinda go Hackney and be like, "Hey, what is this song about?" Like, everybody's having tea. So, thank you for doing it, and
Oh
we're gonna
god.
leave all of that to you.
Oh, well, thank you. So, as you said, there are a lot of songwriters and they want
Yeah.
to have balance between the songwriters. So, Stevie writes Dreams, that is on the album, which
Mhm.
becomes a massive hit.
Sure.
But she also wrote Silver Springs. And what she says in a classic albums interview is that Stevie and Lindsay, they were in Maryland somewhere driving under a freeway sign that said Silver Spring, Maryland. And she loved the name. It sounded like a fabulous place. You could be my Silver Springs. It just became a symbolic thing of what Lindsay could have been to her. The other thing was she was going to give the royalties of that song to her mother.
Which
So it
is
was
so sweet.
which is so sweet. So it was meaningful for a lot of reasons. There's a couple problems though. We're making vinyls and there are time restraints. You can't just
Mhm.
go over because you feel like it. Also, Stevie did not want to cut down other songs. Like Gold Dust Woman was almost 7 minutes.
Yeah.
She didn't
Yeah.
want to cut it down.
No.
And they didn't want side 1 to be too slow, and that was their fear, was that it was going to be a little too slow. So
Right.
Mick is the one that has to take Stevie out to the parking lot to break the news that
And
Silver
she throws a
Springs,
fit.
she throws a motherfucking
Mhm.
fit.
Mhm.
So they try to appease her by putting this pre-Fleetwood Mac song that Stevie had written called "I Don't Want to Know." It's the "I don't want to know the reasons why you love
Mhm.
me" or whatever,
Yep.
and they add instruments to it. And Lindsey thought, "Oh, this will make Stevie happy," but no, 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 no,
Mm-mm.
it didn't. It
Well,
actually just
they did say to her, "If you cut down Silver Springs," but she refused.
she said, "Hell no."
Yeah,
Well,
she refused,
apparently
rightfully so.
apparently Stevie writes like 14-minute songs that then
I
need to
get
be
it,
cut
girl.
down, and I
Mhm.
get it.
Mhm.
So she has a hard time parting with the music.
Yeah.
I understand. But then I Don't Wanna Know, which is a song she really liked, was just ruined because it was you know, the kind
Yeah.
of participation trophy. Like, "Look, we did this
Yeah.
for you." What they did do, though, is they put Silver Springs on the B side of a singles vinyl. So you have the A side, the B side. A side was Go
Mhm.
Your Own Way. B side is Silver Springs. So it's 2 very different points of
Okay.
view on this breakup.
Do you wanna know who heard that B-side when it came out?
Who?
A little girl named Tori Amos.
Yes.
Mhm. And
Yes.
she loved that song, and she started performing it.
I love that. There's that. I think
Mhm.
Courtney Love has cited it.
Courtney
So
Love has it, which mm, mm-mm,
so there was
mm-mm.
this, yeah.
We're not
So
going there, Meredith. We're
nope,
not going
nope,
there.
nope,
Nope,
nope.
nope,
That is
nope,
a
nope.
a lot. So there is this kind of cult following for it. And as I mentioned on Pink Shade a couple of weeks ago, I did in fact order a original pressing because you can't get this anywhere else. You cannot listen to Silver Springs on vinyl unless it is this original single. So I
And if
found it in
people
the
go to your
Netherlands.
Instagram or your TikTok, you have the video. Where
You
is it?
can go to both Instagram or TikTok, Meredith
Of you
Constant.
listening to it, like, first impressions, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Mhm.
it was the day of the 6-month anniversary of my grandfather dying. I get this vinyl in from the Netherlands that I am convinced is a fake, but I didn't spend
Mhm.
too much money, so it's worth it. And then I put it on, and at first I'm like, there's no way. And then I start to hear some music, and then her voice hits, and I lose my mind.
Yeah,
I absolutely lose
yeah,
it
yeah.
because this song and this journey means so much to people. And as she explained in a 1997 interview with Arizona Republic, the song's message is, "I'm so angry with you. You will listen to me on the radio for the rest of your life, and it bugged you. I hope it bugs
Yes,
you," which
yes,
is so
yes.
freaking rock and roll. So
Mhm.
before I get into what comes after Rumors comes out, I want to know if you had to remove one song from the original Rumors vinyl,
Okay,
okay,
let me
not the
look at the
deluxe that comes out in
let me
the
look at the
okay,
song
not the
list.
deluxe that comes out in the early 2000s where they release if you look up the deluxe Rumors that was re-released, they have an early take of Silver Springs and the original, digitized version of Silver Springs. So you get to hear the genesis of that song and then compared with the dance version, you're in for a real treat. That's all I'm saying. You're in for a real treat.
I honestly think I would get rid of "You Make Lovin' Fun."
Interesting.
Mhm. Eh, like John
Oh,
from 90 Day. Meh.
I would get rid of Oh Daddy.
Okay.
I
Either one of those I think could go.
I hate Oh Daddy. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Christine
Mhm.
McVie. It was an ode to Mick for holding everything together. I
Mhm.
found it weird, but I love the elements like on one of the songs, they use a chair to make the beat and make a more
Mhm.
organic sound.
Mhm.
Songbird is famously recorded in an actual orchestra somewhere in Berkeley, an
Mhm.
actual auditorium. And so you're hearing the way it should sound live, and it's just
Right.
incredible. So they pour everything into this album. Rumors is a mega hit.
Yeah.
Mega
Yep.
hit. Of course, the studio wants another, but Lindsey Buckingham being Lindsey Buckingham is like, fuck that. What if I'm weird? And he makes Tusk. Before the first day of Tusk, he has this famous curly long hair. He gets in the shower and shaves his head and just comes in. Like
I am here for that
this
energy. I
man
am
is
here for this.
he would make them redo like the sound of like a click or something
Mhm.
for 6 hours. It was insane. People were unwell. So
Mm.
that receives mixed reviews, but it's really come back into popularity later.
Are you a fan generally of tortured love affairs? Because I am.
Yes. Yes.
Like I told you, I was obsessed with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton.
Well, duh.
I mean, and
Yes.
even John and Yoko, I was really into that whole thing because I'm John Lennon is my.
Yep.
But I got a picture of him right behind me.
I love that. I
Just
actually,
two of them.
in the corner of my basement, I have a picture of the Say You Will album, which is Lindsey and Stevie lying, looking away from each other. And the pose they're
Mm.
doing is, I forget what it's called, but it's a Japanese ritual, like for like killing people or killing
Mm.
themselves. And they're so fucking dramatic, those two.
Yeah, I
And
love
I
it.
love
I
it.
love Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton breaking up, getting married, breaking up, getting married. I'm here for all that.
Give me a surly, kind of whiny, dramatic, brooding man. Oh
Mhm,
my God. My
mhm,
toxic
mhm.
trait is loving
Yeah,
these men.
yeah. Same,
So
same, girl.
Fleetwood Mac makes a few more albums together, but things are falling apart. People need to go to rehab, first of all. People need
Everybody
breaks.
needs to clean up.
Everybody needs to go to rehab. After Mirage, Lindsey is like, I can't go on. I cannot do this. I will die, and quits. And Stevie and Lindsey are also starting to do solo stuff. Stevie gets upset about something about Fleetwood Mac. She wants actually the reason that Stevie ends up leaving the band the first time is that she wants the rights to Silver Springs.
Yeah, she
And
doesn't.
she
They won't give them
always
to her.
and they will not give it to her because they want to put it on the Fleetwood Mac deluxe album. And she's pissed. So she's like, fuck off. So
Well, she gives them an ultimatum and they call her bluff.
yep.
Like, nope.
And she's like, well, okay. And so in the early 90s, like things are done. But what actually saves Fleetwood Mac is kind of Bill Clinton. It's kind of Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't Stop was his unofficial campaign song.
That's
in
right. It
92.
was. Yes,
It sure
it
was.
was.
It
Yes,
sure
it was. I should know this. Yes.
Come on. You could vote. Could you vote?
Mhm.
You could. No.
Yeah.
Could you?
No.
Oh, no. You would
No,
have
I
been too
voted
young.
in 2000. I voted in
That
2000.
was your first. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
listen. So, actually in 2000, we had to do for social studies. I think I was in 7th grade. We had to do this project where you kept a binder full and you followed the entire election. You watched the debates, you took notes, you had to fill out the map the night of the results and
Mhm,
bring it in with your conclusions the next day. So, of
mhm.
course, we're all up late. No one knows who won. And I am freaking out because I have to turn this in. And my mom's like, you need to go to bed. I said, I
Yeah.
can't. This
Yeah.
project is due. So we all come in the next day tired and sobbing. And our teacher
Yeah.
says, just give it a couple days. We'll hold off and we'll go from there. Of course, this drags on. So after a week, the social
I will
studies
never
teachers
forget that.
are just like, can you just turn in your binder? It's fine. There's no
Yeah.
conclusion.
We don't care. Yeah.
What a relic of time. I kind of wish
It
I
was
had
I
that.
wanna say that was probably the first time, not the last, but the first time that the elected president did not win the popular vote. I wanna say that was the first time. I could be wrong on that. Amanda would know better, but
I
was
would
not the
have to look
last.
it up, but it's definitely started a trend of
Mhm,
that kind of
mhm.
voting, showing that
Yeah.
perhaps the Electoral College is an outdated institution
Perhaps it
that
needs to go
was
away. Yeah.
necessary when we didn't have a large population and mostly farmers
Correct.
that were coming across to vote on a Tuesday, which still isn't a federal holiday. It should be. Anyway, getting back
Anyway.
into it.
Mhm.
So the band reunites to play Don't Stop at Bill Clinton's first inauguration gala in 1993. It is a great video. There are a lot of white people clapping on the ones and threes.
Mhm.
It's
Of
iconic.
course.
But the band is like, this kind of feels good. This is nice. We're all relatively sober. We're older.
Yep.
And then we have Twisted, which is a song for the 1996 movie Twister that Stevie and Lindsey write together, and they do not kill each other. And in
And they're
fact,
like, "Maybe we could do this. Maybe we can be on a stage together."
And also, Stevie in particular has a really rough early 90s. She ends up needing to go to rehab for several things. Lindsey ends up helping her through some early detox. He paid
Yeah.
a ridiculous amount of money allegedly to be able to stay with her at one of these detox places. So they're,
Mhm.
they're always seeing if they can just be friends and get along, but they never can. So they actually called Mick in to play the drums for Twisted. So the band kind of gets back together, and that culminates in the dance tour in 1997. So it's during the dance tour that Silver Springs reemerges in this slightly different version. And what ends up happening is that they're rehearsing, right? And one of the producers, Elliot Schneider,
Mm.
says about this moment that culminates in that video that we watched of their taped performance in Burbank, California before they kicked off a tour. He says, to be honest, I don't remember hearing Silver Springs done at rehearsals.
Because she didn't do it at rehearsals,
She
right?
didn't? No,
No, I read that she may have rehearsed it, but she didn't let anybody know what she was going to do. And she did this live so that people would remember it.
that's what I've heard too. I've
Yeah.
heard that.
Mhm.
Excuse me. I've heard that part, but essentially what everyone says is Silver Springs was not Silver Springs. Like
Right.
we didn't see that in rehearsals. That
Right.
moment happens on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because I wonder if this was by design or
Correct.
if this was a raw moment that Stevie has then turned into this. Oh no, it was for posterity. I wanted people, because she told Rolling Stone at the time, I wanted people to stand back and really watch and understand what the relationship with Lindsey was. I wonder, I wonder how much of that is true or
Me
how
too.
much of that is let me spin a story that puts me in control
Can I
and
play my
make.
surprise for you? I think it's a good time.
Okay, yes.
So we're talking about genuine reactions to this song, right? And you
Yes.
probably have seen this, but
Maybe
I
not.
want your
Maybe.
reaction on air.
Okay.
Okay. So I
Okay.
found this taped by a fan on the same tour.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Come on now.
Edging the audience.
Oh, the hair.
Oh
The
my
hair.
god.
And he wipes away a tear at the end. Watch.
They
She
they
holds him.
they do
Holds
that.
him.
These people, they do this.
Right?
These freaking what they do to us. And that's
But
what
I wonder, like, that was a genuine reaction in the moment. He
there's
was
also
overcome.
there's also a beautiful moment in Landslide where he's playing and he
Mhm.
pauses. It's in the middle near the end and he smiles, wipes away a quick tear, and keeps playing, and you can see him choked up. There's also a really famous, if you really want to ruin your emotional well-being, if you
Mm.
look up "Say Goodbye" from
Writing it down.
I think it's Vegas 2013, where they're singing at each other, and Stevie cannot sing the lyrics and is crying. "Say Goodbye."
2013, you say?
I'm pretty sure it's 2013
Okay.
in Vegas. It is the most tortured thing you have ever seen.
Okay.
Say Goodbye was written by Lindsey. It is clearly a goodbye to this relationship,
Mm.
especially it was for the I think it was written in the early 2000s. Is it on it might be on Say You Will. But they say just a time within a time, a dream within a dream, a little world within a world, just a dream, just a dream. So dreams, obviously Stevie's song. A world within a world was what they called being on tour with Fleetwood Mac. It is this song will gut you. If you
Okay.
really need to go there, if you need a good cry, just watch all these things in order. So,
We were just talking about songs that make you really cry.
yeah.
So when you're driving in your car and you need the cry because you left the kids at home, thank God. You're going to you're going to the Target parking lot. You need to get it out. What do
Okay,
you
this
put
is
on
real.
Fleetwood Mac song?
Depends on my mood. I will probably put on Say Goodbye though.
Okay.
Say Goodbye is a
Okay.
really good cry song. I'm trying to think of there's a lot of Billie Eilish, like What Was I Made For? That's
Mhm.
a really good one
Mhm.
when you're feeling stuck and unsure of what you're doing in this world and what you're
Mhm.
adding to it. That's a good one too.
Mine is No Hard Feelings by the Avett Brothers. It
Oh.
guts me every time. Every time. And in there's a documentary that oh, who is that famous No, it's not Phil Spector. He killed people.
Oh my God.
There's a famous producer who did that album for them.
Oh.
And he was like, what I'm capturing with these two brothers on their little farm in North Carolina is like so amazing. I need to make a documentary of it. So they make a documentary. Judd Apatow made the
There we go.
documentary.
Not
His
Phil Spector.
no. I'm talking about the producer of the album is somebody famous too. But it's not Phil Spector because he murders people. So Judd Apatow's wife was roommates with one of the brothers' girlfriends in college, and so he heard about this band. He makes the documentary. The brothers can't even talk about this song in the documentary when they're recording it. It's Scott's song. No, I'm sorry, it's Seth's song, and Scott hears him singing it and has to leave, and they can't even talk about it.
Oh my God.
It's so beautiful. It brings me to tears every single time I listen to it.
Oh my
That's
God.
my song.
I have to play that. Also,
Mhm.
Don't from Jewel's album. Say what was it's not Foolish Games.
Fucking Jewel, man.
The Don't though, it's just her. It's just her playing an
Mm,
acoustic guitar. It is heartbreaking. Don't yeah,
mm.
we have to make sad girl playlist.
Me and a Gun, Tori Amos.
Ooh, okay.
Ugh.
We could do this all day. We could do this all day.
Any Indigo Girls song off of Rites of Passage.
It's so good. So I actually getting back to Silver Springs, I
No, do we have to go back? I'm having fun.
I'm
No,
like,
go ahead.
I still have notes. I'm
I'm
just
the
kidding.
derailer. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
it's good. It's fun.
Mhm.
So I I don't know if I believe what Stevie said, but I understand
Okay.
from a self-preservation
Yes.
standpoint why she would want to say that, but it feels too raw to be acting. Like
I
some of it
agree.
could be put on to an extent because they are performing and they're feeding off the audience, but
Right.
this is decades of history being exchanged.
So what if it was more like this? Because I'm a performer. I'm a spoken word poet. I've performed many times in front of crowds. You might say in your head, this, with this line, I'm going to look at my husband. You're not planning out what that's going to look like after. So maybe she was just like, I'm going to turn to Lindsey at some point and I'm going to sing this to him, not realizing what it would have turned into.
That's fair too.
I
Not
think it was planned to
realizing
that extent, but not super planned. If
and
that makes sense.
they match each other. They really do match the
They
energy
really
in a way
do.
that I can't imagine them planning because I could just see Stevie coming up with that idea and Lindsay being like, "Well, actually," because there's in the original Silver Springs, there's a verb tense issue that Lindsay points out
Mm.
that pisses off Stevie, and I think she begrudgingly changes it for the dance, but like they will not.
What is it? Can you tell me what the issue is? Because I have issues like this with songs all the time.
Did you say she was pretty? Wait, did you say she's pretty? I forget what I have to go back and
Okay.
listen.
Okay.
I will go back, but there is something that is like present and then past, and it doesn't make
Mhm.
sense. And Lindsay calls it out, and she nearly throttles him. So there's another element though to the dance tour. There's another
Mm.
element.
Mm. Okay.
So during this time, Lindsay's girlfriend is Kristen Mesner,
Mhm.
and she's the photog on the dance tour. She
Mhm.
is touring with the band, taking the photos. They met on the cover for one of his solo albums in '96. Now, when
We're all
the
paying
dan
real close attention to this timeline, but go
yeah,
on.
yeah, when they are touring
Mhm.
for the dance, which ends up being a US like 44 city tour, it
Mhm.
is October into November. It's mostly in the fall. Kristen and Lindsay have their first baby, a boy named William, in July of 1998. 1998.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that means conception was sometime. I told you I researched. So that
I
puts
hate
us
you, but I love you.
I know, it's so sad. So that's sometime in late October or November. And there are people, and by people I mean Fleetwood Mac chat boards, that think that Nicks incredibly emotional reaction at the November 29th or November 30th was because she had learned of this. Because
Okay.
Nicks has said when she knew the relationship was really over with her and Stevie, done, is the day his first child was born.
With her and Lindsey.
With Kristen and Lindsey.
Oh,
Stevie knew
okay.
that she was done with
Okay.
Lindsey. This was not a thing when that baby was born on July 8th, 1998. Not that I looked it up.
Okay.
So
So
she
when was
said,
this performance that we're watching?
okay,
When
so
did this
we
happen?
are in May. We are in May of 1997. Kristen is on. I can't imagine how Stevie treated Kristen. I would love to just know. And so she is having to watch this romance or not on stage, and people always want these two to get back together, which
You
cannot
could
be
never
helpful.
compete with this, Kristen. I'm sorry, you just
No,
can't.
you couldn't. You couldn't.
So all right. So the performance that we saw, the original
Yes.
performance, is
Yes.
May 1997.
Yes. So no one's pregnant.
Okay. This baby's born in July. So we think the baby was conceived when?
In
November, October.
November, October, when they're on tour and they're still performing that. So people
the
have equated some
the
of
second
their
video we watched
Yes.
was November 30th. I wonder if his
Ooh.
emotional reaction was they were kind of
Oh my God. I love this. It's like he knows it's over too.
Yes. And
Yes.
they're saying goodbye to each other.
Did we just solve everything?
Did we just scoop this?
Did we just I think we did it. I think we did it, guys.
Because it is an overly
It is
here,
very emotional.
See, 11/30/97. I bet you he told her right before this. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "It's over." Hold on. I'm going to do this. I love you, baby. I didn't mean to knock her up, but I just did. Oh, I love you too, Lindsey. We'll make out after the show. See, it's over. It's over.
And you know what's interesting? She isn't just turned to Lindsey, she's turned away from the audience.
They're the only two people on stage.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Thank God for my trying to do math and count back by 9 to 10 months. How would we have ever known?
This was November 30th.
Mm-hmm. And that's when fans speculate was when Stevie learned the news that Kristen was pregnant, which was a hard end. They are in their 40s. Enough is enough. There are going to be children involved. They are not going to ruin these children's lives.
Right.
Which best decision these two have ever made. But oh man.
Okay, real quick. I want to read a quote that I found. You probably have it. So I want to talk about them as lovers. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And Stevie tells Rolling Stone, I think in 2015, not really sure. In Lindsey's mind, all of the other women that came after me were all going after rich rock and roll star Lindsey Buckingham. Nobody was looking into the heart I had looked into. Nobody was seeing the guy before he was famous. We knew each other. That's what makes us unique to each other. I think that's beautiful.
I think it is. And I think it really speaks to how important the people are that knew you before you were an adult, before you were a big name in whatever. I think there is something special about that. That's relatable, even if you aren't a famous rocker with a equally famous jilted ex.
Now, Lindsey doesn't have quite as generous of a take.
No, he is. This man is angry.
Let's play this clip.
And I know it's had a lot of different phases.
My relationship with Stevie is fragmented.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot of love there. But, you have to begin with the fact that in order to get through those early days, it was kind of an exercise in compartmentalization for everyone emotionally.
Yeah.
And for me in particular, I was not the one doing the leaving. She left me. But
burn.
There was never really any chance to get anything like closure because that takes perhaps some distance.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of is how we got along. And I think you cut to 20, 30 years later and that leads to a kind of a fragmented relationship. I think, you know, sometimes she might find it difficult that I was lucky enough to find my soulmate late in life and got married and had my first child when I was 48
He
and have
said
3
soulmate.
beautiful children, and that was something she never did. You know, she basically is living her professional life, and so maybe I don't know if that plays into it.
Whoa, did he just say she's jealous of me?
Basically.
Did he just pull the I think she's jealous of me card?
He totally did. It's even he got in trouble even with his latest album, self-titled, that came out maybe 3 years ago, because he just still cannot help but poke the bear, even when he
Yeah.
doesn't think he's poking the bear. And Stevie sometimes is very pleasant and kind of above it, and then other times she'll get in there too. There is I cannot remember the documentary. It might The Making of Rumors. No, I forget what it's not. I don't remember. That's not helpful. But they actually talk about the Go Your Own Way, which was obviously the song that
Oh, I have
Lindsey
that. I have that clip.
Oh, you do? Because
Well, not from the documentary, but I have a clip of him talking about it with Dan Rather. But
because
go ahead and finish your thought.
Stevie ends up, and this is again in the 90s, it's 20 to 30 years later, and she is so worked up talking about that song.
Oh,
And the
we need to
packing
find
up,
that.
shacking up's all you want to do. And you're just sitting there going, oh, baby, you two have not processed this. You have not
No.
learned how to live in a
No.
world where you can keep that, you can really compartmentalize. Y'all have not done that.
Well, and he's telling anyone who will listen, it's because we didn't have time to process it and move away from one another. But you did have time.
Now you've had time. And the fact that allegedly part of the reason they broke up was because of a 2018 Music Cares event where
Lindsey like smirked or
he
something.
smirked during her speech or something, which my friend was at that. And she goes, if I had only known that was going to be the last time I would see them all together and that there would be this big moment, I would have paid way more attention.
Let's listen to him talk about Go Your Own Way.
You wrote, among other things, Go Your Own Way and Secondhand News. What were you saying to Stevie?
Well, I think both of those are basically saying, hey, you know, I'm resigned to whatever happens, but you know, it's a damn shame. And it's not what I want.
Again, it's not what I want.
And that I think that's really about it, you know. Actually, Secondhand News, at least it has a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor in it, because it's basically saying, as a contingency, if you ever get lonely, you know, I'm always willing to proposition you.
News. That was such a nice way of being, I'll fuck. Because that song,
Dan Rather all the time.
Because that song goes, we can lay down in the grass and let me do my stuff. And I said, oh,
whoa,
okay, let's do the stuff. Oh,
So-
yeah, that song is hot.
So the eternal question that remains at the end of all of this, because I always bring it down to the lowest basement level of class that there is.
Okay.
Did they or did they not bang when they got off that stage in May?
I have such a hard time with this because there's so much speculation that
I know.
they were definitely fucking, and sorry, Kristen, until she got pregnant and then everything was done. Or they were having a very heavy emotional affair or something. How could they not have fucked?
How could they not have?
I don't know.
Could they not have?
Like, I'm sorry, Kristen.
Maybe
I
it was
am.
just a one-time thing. You know what?
Just get it out of their system.
Maybe they just, the edging continued off stage, got real far, and then they just stopped before there was a P in the V.
Maybe, you know what? Perhaps that's it. Maybe that's the best that we can hope for. Clearly, it wasn't enough to resolve things, as we have seen. Wait, we have to watch the video now one more time. We are 54 minutes into the saga.
We're going to watch it. So let me
And it's
ask
been
you
great.
before we go any further, because we're going to go out with the video.
Okay.
Are there any other notes or thoughts that you did not share? Because I want you to have this platform to be able to just say whatever you need to say.
This was very cathartic. I just think, you know what? Respect your elders. Go back, listen to music, figure
Yep.
out where the Taylor
Yep.
Swifts, where the music that you love comes from, because the origins are so wild. It is a soap opera. It is the fact that these two people wrote songs about each other. Lindsey created and produced and brought color to songs about him, and that the art above all else was the most important thing. It's just, it's
Mhm.
incredible. It's an incredible story.
I agree.
I think more people should know about it. I think it should be mandatory viewing, and it should be a class in high school.
And tell everyone where they can find you. In
Yes, you
case
can
they have
find.
no idea who both of us are, we're going to introduce ourselves.
What
Go
if they
ahead.
just like stumbled onto this? Could you imagine? So you can find me over at Substack, which is
Well, let me get the thing up. There we go.
meredithconstant.substack.com. I write, I do these little mashups, I do some royal content. I love talking about media literacy, but make it fun. I'm also over on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, Meredith Constant, all one word. How about you, Amy?
Okay, so I am the host of a reality TV and some scripted TV podcast called Little Miss Recap, which I just realized my logo's been in the corner the entire time.
That's okay.
And that's what I do. So you can find us at Little Miss Recap, and we try to put a somewhat intelligent lens on these shows.
No, you do. It is. Listen, I'm gonna say what Amy cannot say. It is the kind of intersectional commentary on reality TV shows that so much of us want. It is
No.
funny and stupid at times, but you look at it through this intersectional feminist lens. You look at the role that class, money,
Mhm.
race, all this stuff plays into these shows, which really cannot be ignored. It is stimulating.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we like to just talk about Fleetwood Mac for a while.
Well, duh.
I think, you know what video I could go on and on about? Have you
What?
ever seen the Robert Downey Jr. video of Elton John's I Want Love?
No.
That one I could go on and on
Okay,
about.
I think we might have the second
because it was Robert Downey Jr. Remember, he had that whole big thing where he fell asleep in somebody else's house and he was arrested, and Hollywood just basically shunned him. And
I only know
Elton
bits and
John,
pieces of this.
oh yeah, Elton John cast him in that video as like a way to bring him back, and it worked. And it's the hottest video ever.
Okay,
That'll be our next one.
That's next time on.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to play this as we go out. Subscribe wherever you can. And let me pull it up here. I think I have to restart it. Yes. Okay, here we go. Oh, let's go halfway.
John's just trying to hide in the shadows playing the bass.
Where is it, Meredith?
Okay, we're right here. We're getting into it. This is the musical break, instrumental break. Look at Mick. He's like,
Mick's
I'm just having a
in his
good
own
time.
world. Yeah, he's like,
I don't care. And Stevie starts her staring very early.
She's trying to get him to look over. She's me at every concert where I'm trying to get somebody to look at me.
Oh my God, those extra undone buttons. Here comes Mick. If you listen to the isolated vocals, beautiful.
Oh, she's amazing.
The three of them together.
I really think Christine McVie is seeing this happen in real time and is like, girl, pull back, pull back.
She's like, I've tried. I've done my duty.
Oh, look at her looking at him.
And he's kind of glistening a bit. He doesn't sweat, he glistens.
She's like almost expressionless. Like she's gone somewhere.
We're starting to look at each other a bit. The Lumso. He's ready.
I like the buttons down.
Oh my God, the turn. This part.
Oh, whoa, I almost slid off my chair.
Oh my God.
I think you need to put this on next time you and your husband are having a little fun time.
No, because it would be me having to give him the history for an hour beforehand. Like, you can't just listen. You have to know why I'm obsessed with it. But give me just
But that
a
might
chance.
make him hotter to you, Meredith, if he listens and is
That's
into
fair.
it. Oh, you'll never get away. Never get away.
Christine's just like, okay, sure.
All right, gang. Thank you. Meredith, thank you.
Thank you. flashing.
Silver Springs is a great old song.
Oh. Thank you so much, Silver Springs. It's great.